Greetings. Let us learn about guide wires used for ERCP. So here is a cannulation of the major ampulla with a sphincterotome, and it was a wire guided cannulation, and you could use a guide wire through the sphincterotome to cannulate the bile duct. You could also use it for cannulation of the pancreatic duct, and usually we use 0.035 inch guide wire for these purposes. In case of the minor ampulla, you use a smaller gauge wire. So let us look at a sphincterotome, and this is the wire port. That's where the guide wire enters. And let us figure out how do you set up your guide wire and prepare the guide wire for a procedure. It's important to learn about the guide wire. There are lots of different varieties of guide wire, but all the guide wires have two important features. There is a flexible distal end and a stiff proximal end. And we will learn a little more about this. And the guide wires come in 3 or 4 different diameters: 0.018, 0.025, and 0.035. 0.035 is the guide wire that is frequently used for ERCPs. And let us learn a little more about how do you figure out which one is the stiff end and which one is the flexible end. Here is the stiff end, and you can press on the palm, it looks stiff. On the other hand, if you take the other end, that's the soft end. When you press it will flex. That is the soft end. And compared to the soft end, check the stiff end. Stiff end is the one that should be held by the technician. It should never be given to the endoscopist because it can cause a perforation of the bile duct if it enters into the bile duct. So the stiff end is always held by the technician. That is the technician end. The soft end is the one that is introduced into the catheter. That is the patient end. So how do you prepare a sphincterotome guide wire? So you push the stiff end out of the plastic sheath till the flexible end comes out, and then use saline to flush saline from the stiff end until you wet the whole wire and saline comes out. So it's very important to moisten the guide wire, and that allows the guide wire to go through the catheter easily. And once you've prepared the guide wire by wetting the whole wire, you introduce the guide wire into the sphincterotome through the wire port. So when it comes to feeding the wire port, you always want to make sure you're using the flexible end. And as you feed, it will come out through the other end. The wire is out here, and it is the flexible end. So we prepared the sphincterotome loaded with the guide wire with the flexible soft end going into the sphincterotome wire port. Next, you prepare the injection port by flushing the injection port with contrast, and this is how you flush and inject. And with the right hand you inject dye, with the left hand you manipulate the wire as the endoscopist wants you to manipulate. If it is in the ampulla, the sphincterotome is in the ampulla, and he says, can you push the wire? You manipulate gently till the wire gets up into the bile duct. Once the cannulation has been done and the endoscopist is ready to cut the sphincter, and then you let go the syringe and the wire, and then hold on to the sphincterotome handle. And if the endoscopist says to bow, you bring the thumb towards the middle and ring finger on the handle, that is bow. And if you open up your handle, that is unbow. So bowing and unbowing. These are the principles of using a sphincterotome. And once the procedure is over, it is important to remove the guide wire. And I must say, as you're handling the guide wire in a sphincterotome, it is very important to not lose the wire. And when you lose the wire, you may lose the cannulation. So hang on to the wire and make sure that you're not pulling out the wire. And once the endoscopist says, let us remove the guide wire, there is a method to removing the guide wire by forming nice long loops as you remove the guide wire, so that you create a nice long loops, and then the ends are folded on each other to create a good loop of guide wire. And then you can use a clamp to secure the guide wire to the end of your operating room table. I hope this is useful. Thank you.